Harry's Wife, Part 103.12. Your World is Lonely. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor, continuing to educate you about narcissism using the prominent example of Harry's wife, amongst other people, of course. We turn to the Express with an article by Callie Brooks. As always, I leave it for you to determine the veracity of the material. I provide you with the analysis. The headline reads, Harry's wife and Prince Harry's circle is small and their world is lonely. Harry's wife and Prince Harry moved to the United States in March 2020 and continue to build their lives there. Harry's wife and Prince Harry's circle is small and their world is lonely, a royal expert has claimed. It comes as the pair return to the United States to continue their new lives since stepping down from their roles as senior royals. Earlier this week, rumours swirled that the Sussexes were open to the idea of expanding their family, after a source told Closer that adding one more to the mix would be wonderful for the couple. However, royal commentator Kinsey Schofield doesn't believe a third child is on the cards, and added that after their exit from the royal family, the pair trust few. Manifestation of paranoia, which can affect both of them. Hers is narcissistic paranoia, his is his own paranoia, which is then fed upon by her need for control over him. If Harry and Harry's wife truly are considering a third child, I imagine that's because their circle is small and their world is lonely, Miss Schofield told the Daily Star. Neither one of them has relationships with their families, all caused, of course, by Harry's wife, and both have ceased from communicating with long-time friends, again caused by Harry's wife. They trust few and rely a lot on each other. Harry's wife has had multiple difficult pregnancies, and I really don't think she would even attempt to put her body through that again. There'll be some of you, of course, saying she never did the first time. Miss Schofield, who runs a podcast titled To Die For Daily, added that if the pair were to bring another life into the world, it would be going against a promise made by Harry several years ago, which saw him cap his family at 4 for environmental reasons. Miss Schofield added, although I'm almost used to Prince Harry and Harry's wife contradicting themselves, a third child goes completely against what Prince Harry said in a 2019 conversation with chimpanzee expert Jane Goodall for British Vogue. He told the activist that he would have had 2 children at the most and blamed his decision on climate change. He specifically said that the birth of Archie heightened his awareness of the environment. She added, I don't think that the addition of another child would heal any existing animosity between the Sussexes and their royal in-laws, but shutting up might. Harry's wife recently gave a tell-all interview with Variety magazine, where she spoke about Queen Elizabeth II's death and the support the family received after. The Duchess said, it's been a complicated time, but my husband, ever the optimist, said now she's reunited with her husband. In big moments of life, you get a lot of perspective. It makes you wonder what you want to focus your perspective on, your energy on. Right now, we feel energized and excited about all of the things we've been building toward. We've also focused on our foundation. So much of the work we do includes the philanthropic space. As I've explained previously, that is the response of someone who has no emotional empathy. But there are 2 matters which come from this. Namely, is it correct that their world is small and lonely? Let's deal with Harry first. His world is certainly small. Why? Because, unaware of what he's dealing with, he has effectively allowed his narcissist wife to dictate to him who he is involved with. This is entirely common. The narcissist, in order to ensure that control is maintained over that all-important, intimate partner primary source, the husband, the wife, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the partner, the cohab, often removes other people from the social matrix of the victim. Colleagues, friends, neighbours and family are ostracised, smeared, poison poured in the ear of that chief victim in order to cause them to sever or weaken their ties. Often done through pity play. Do you really need to go and see them tonight? I'd rather you stay here and have a cosy night with me. I miss you when you're not here. I really would prefer that we were together. Utilisation of guilt and pity play to cause that intimate partner primary source to cancel yet again going to play 5-a-side football with his friends, and thereafter they stop inviting him because they don't see the point. He, at the time, doesn't necessarily see that his circle is being shrunk, and he certainly doesn't see that he's being manipulated into a position of alienation. He thinks he's doing the right thing, and of course, when he's rewarded with smiles and hugs and possibly some spicy poontang, it's all worth it to please his wife. After all, she becomes the most important person within his own social matrix. However, he's being conned, and what he doesn't realise is that his support network is being eroded, so that friends either are kept away purposefully or just get fed up of never having their calls returned or their invitations rebuffed. Family continue to try, but realise that it's pointless, and they become so fed up of the treatment that they receive by the toxic duo that they give up. And, of course, where those are expertly advised, they realise the best course of action is to have nothing to do with them. And thus Prince Harry has been manipulated by her subconscious narcissism into a position of foregoing much of his social network in terms of friends and family, and even more so, being transplanted from the country of his birth and where he has grown up into a country which in effect is completely alien to him, and instead being forced to adopt celebrity friends such as James Corden, arsehole, and supposedly Orlando Bloom, and Nacho at the Polo Club. Essentially, he's been told who he should be friends with as a consequence of his wife's narcissism dictating that these are appropriate people to have within the fuel matrix. Harry's social network is destroyed and transplanted with new individuals that are actually those of the choosing of his wife. Thus his circle is indeed small, and his world is lonely. He doesn't have the familiarity of the country that he grew up in. He doesn't have the familiarity of mates and family, the institution that he was part of. He doesn't necessarily have the old HP sauce that he wants to throw in his bacon sandwich in the morning. Television, radio, all of those things that are familiar to him and that exacerbate the loneliness. Furthermore, he's in sustained devaluation, which means, in effect, he'll be sent to the chicken coop. He'll be given silent treatments. He'll be given the curled shoulder. He'll be locked out of the bedroom, forced to sleep in a spare room. And thus, not only has he been removed from his existing circles and doesn't really have any genuine ones in the United States, but the very person that he's come to rely on the most picks and chooses to when she will give him the good grace of her company. And there have been many instances where he's left wandering the halls of the Monty Shit Show mansion, wondering, what have I done wrong this time? His world is lonely, and his circle is small. What about Harry's wife? Well, her circle is actually small because very few people actually like her. She doesn't have any genuine friends. And of course, her narcissism tells her that she does have lots of friends. So, for instance, that when she goes shopping and it's somebody who works for Archwell, that's actually her friend. And that the person that's cooked her a meal is actually a friend. And that those celebrities who actually want to run away from her when they happen to have the misfortune of coming across her on the street or at an event are her friends. Take, for example, the way that she regarded George and Amal Clooney as friends to invite them to her wedding. And they said, we've never even met her. We're not really sure why we're here. That's indicative of the behaviour of the narcissist to be deluded into believing that, oh yes, real close personal friends of mine. Yeah, but you've never met them. That doesn't matter. And that's poo-pooed and pushed to one side. Harry's wife believes that she's got lots of friends. Celebrities, famous people, politicians, staff, the people in the street, the Sussex squad. All of those individuals are friends. And she believes that she has a huge circle. The reality is, though, if you look at the invitations, they dry up. And the people that involve themselves with her only do so because it benefits them. Oprah only did so because it benefited her. Ditto Gayle King. They've fallen rather quiet as of late, haven't they? Where have all those invitations gone to? What about the lunch she was going to have with the senators that were going to become her new best friends? That didn't seem to happen. What about all the people that were going to roll out the 40-40 debacle? That didn't happen because she hasn't got any friends. Where are the childhood friends? No, they've been isolated, either left on the shelf or in some instances even disengaged from. What about her own family? Well, she's had nothing to do with her ill father for a long time, ditto her half-siblings. Uncles and aunts are excluded. The Markle side, the extended family there, never seemed to get invited. They weren't invited to the wedding. And occasionally, and only occasionally, Doria seems to pop up. But beyond that, she has no involvement with them. Harry's wife's narcissism has caused her to believe that the more important appliances, basically celebrities and famous people, are her friends, although they're not. And those that might once have been her friends and active members of the family in terms of interacting with her have been pushed to the wayside. Thus, her circle is actually small. Yes, she has access to lots of tertiary sources, the goons that support her, those that write favourably about her, the lackeys that support her, the members of the coterie that have something to gain from hanging out with her. But the genuine circle of genuine friends and family interaction is very small indeed. Is her world lonely? Well, where you stand, you would say that it is, but in her world it isn't. Some narcissists will complain about being lonely. Why? It's a pity play, and it's done to assert control over you, draw fuel, etc. But the narcissist, when they're own, never feels lonely, because the narcissist will not let that happen. It's pointless. It's a weakness. It's a threat to control, and is diametrically opposed to the purposes of why the narcissism acts in the way that it does. That's why the narcissism convinces the narcissist that they do have lots of friends, that there's lots of people who are interested. That's why she will scour social media to look for those favourable comments from people, because in her world, they effectively become her friends because they support her. That is a useful breakdown for you of whether it is accurate with regard to the issue of the circle being small, the world being lonely for both of them. What about the issue of a third child? Well, quite simply, it remains a matter of speculation. There are those, of course, that believe that the first two children don't exist, or if they do, they were born of a surrogate, so on and so forth. And there'll be many that say that if a third child comes along, this is only being done to compete with the suggestion that the Waleses might have another child because they're on 3 already. What do those below the line think about all of this? What are their observations about Harry's wife? What do they think about her behaviour and conduct? Pearl 2 writes, so Harry's wife's plan is working. Isn't that a classic element of an abusive relationship, that the abuser isolates the victim from family and friends so they have no support network? Absolutely correct. Nell R. The Clooneys were at their wedding and entertained them at their home in Italy for a few days, but seemed to have not pursued things further. The A-listers who normally love proximity to royalty seem to be avoiding them. People in general don't like others who publicly trash their family, because if they will trash family, what will they do to you? The Express will not allow my posts. Of course their circle is small. Who in their right senses would want anything to do with the pair of dishonest blabbermouths? Washing machine. Of course Harry will be lonely, living with Harry's wife, who only thinks about me. Harry was better off in the royal family, where he had a close extended family. Also friends who knew him well, and his mental health issues. Now Harry lives in a house turned into a fortress in a foreign land, surrounded by gates with a 24-hour security team, mostly for his own safety. His security mostly we need to oversee Harry's every action. Harry won't be allowed friends as they will be seen as a threat, like when Harry's wife got Harry to change his phone number and not tell his friends and family in the UK as a working royal. My view today, well, when you make your living out of trashing people and moaning you aren't paid enough, friends are going to be thin on the ground. They have advertised to the whole planet that they are totally untrustworthy and respect no one. American monarchist. Not what they were expecting when they left Great Britain for America. Harry's wife thought they would be toast of the town. The article states they trust few. I tend to think few trust them is more like it. Celador. It seems that Harry's wife has delusions about everything, doesn't it? Mirror, mirror on the wall comes to mind. Dave M. Circle is small and their world is lonely. I wonder why. Now let me think. Oh yes, she lied a lot, manipulated a lot, broadcast files bile about the royal family a lot, sued her own family a lot, trashed her own past decisions a lot, wore wire traps to catch royals out in private, insulted the Queen and Prince Philip, lied about her real age, buried the memory of her first husband, she's on her third with victim Hazmat, possibly had a child before, and now produced 2 fake baby bumps via surrogates, perjured herself in court, remembered being a briefcase girl, forgot about doing BJs in 90210, enjoyed freebie yachting trips in exchange for favours, acted out numerous suit scenes being pinned to various office furniture, and basically stab everyone in the back on the way up. So, Yeah, that'll leave you fairly isolated. Bocca fan, no family, no friends, she got rid of them all. Seems it's the only way she can be the centre of it all, with a dim husband and 2 little children. Emma Dav. Disliked and disrespected are 2 adjectives to describe their behaviours these days. They earned the title of the most evil couple in the world. They are seen as liars, publicity hungry, shallow and money-grabbing. And they are seen as shameless money grabbers because they are now using their son's name as their latest charity or foundation. Another way to make money for themselves by getting people to donate to their charity. Uncle Buck. These 2 are more pathetic than ever. Nobody likes them, nobody trusts them, and frankly, nobody cares. Carol R. What difficult pregnancies. Kate had hyperemesis gravidarum, which is constant vomiting and nausea during each pregnancy. All Harry's wife did was model for the camera when photographed and had a baby shower by A-list friends that was totally uncultured for the royal family. It was probably a big wake-up call that she is American and will always continue with uncultured American traditions than be part of the English culture. The only reason that they will have another child is to play on King Charles's heartstrings and get some type of monetary incentive. Desert Girl. Just after the Cambridges had their 3rd child, Harry made that awful comment about how wrong it was to have more than 2. Tactless and nasty. Sunny in Jersey. Still waiting for those bike riding pictures of Harry and Archie. Susie23. I don't understand why she's never questioned on the photos of her pregnant in the red-purple outfit with a bump having slipped to below her knees in a London street where Harry had to hail a cab. How then can Archie have been delivered on time? This isn't gossip to cause hurt, but a real event which is easily found in images online, but I believe never has been headline news. Mrs. Brown. Oh dear, here we go again. Harry's wife did not give birth to either of the children they claim to have. She certainly would be extremely unlikely to become pregnant now, as it has been revealed her real age is 45 or 46. It is alleged that she gave her real age on court papers during one of her attempts at suing. No one has ever seen either of the invisible children, not here, and according to reports, neither have been seen in the United States. Similar comments, basically reaffirming that they are sad and lonely, and or that their circle is small and that they are lonely, and the reasons why that is. Everybody sees quite clearly that they've brought it upon themselves, and the usual scepticism about the existence of the children. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.